Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Scare Your Friends podcast. We murdered John after the Bart's Dead episode, so now I'm running the fucking show. I know nothing about Creepypasta, and we're only going to do what I believe are good ones, so buckle up, everyone. Let's do it!
Joke's on you, he's still here.
He's still here. He's sitting there with the laptop,
Yeah, I'm
staring at me
still
with the
here.
death stare.
Hey guys, it's John the Skillfully.
He's alive!
He's alive!
All I remember is hitting the pause button. All you guys choking me out. Why is there red marks on my neck?
No more lost episodes.
You said something very disturbing.
All right. So I am John, the skillest of fleas, and with me today is Dylan.
No, just no.
No? Okay.
Nate?
Whoa.
I don't think the mic even picked that up, dude.
Hi!
Yeah,
There
you
it
really
There
need
you
to-
go. Outdoor voices. Just kidding.
Hi.
Yeah, my name's Will. I'm here too.
And clearly, I'm here. Dan.
The man who needs no introduction.
Yeah.
Lumberjack Dan. himself.
Lumberjack Dan, I forget about that.
That should be your name.
No,
I need to give you like personas.
I'm gonna that's gonna be my I'm gonna
That'll-
start writing creepypastas.
That'll
That's gonna be
quickly
my
devolve
creepypasta.
into a gay porn.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, well, you
Oh,
know.
jeez. So today I thought I would read two short stories for you guys today.
Oh God.
The first one we're going to read today is The Smiling Man.
Oh, wonderful. Is that like the Slender Man?
The smiling man.
That's a
Oh,
fun
Jesus
picture.
Christ!
Oh my god.
So they want...
It's like a
That's
Joker.
awesome.
It kind of is, but let's just give the story a chance.
Yeah.
So I just showed him the image of the Smiling Man.
Is
I
it
give-
Spider-Man in black? Because that's not gonna know.
I give every story a chance.
There's
Alright.
a Reddit for this.
Wait, is this it? The one? That one?
It's called The Smiling Man.
Is this like an urban legend?
It's just on the Creepypasta.
Okay, honestly, this looks like something my friend Josh would draw, and that's creeping me out.
It does look like something that Josh.
It looked right. You
As
know.
we read
Yeah.
this story, and the funny thing is, you know how I have
Just make sure.
how I have like the giant pictures like on all my YouTube videos, just like
Sure.
the big picture. It's just gonna be this.
Yeah, people are gonna get
So-
fucking nightmares.
So for those of you listening at home, when you're listening to the story, imagine it this guy. So we're gonna listen to a story about the Smiling Man.
okay.
So here we go.
I didn't find it yet.
You're the last one to read.
You have
chill.
You have time, Dylan.
ample time.
Dan, can you kill me again?
Fucking, I'm already dead
All right,
inside.
kick it off, John.
All right, find it. It's
I
it's
found
this.
it. I
It's-
found it.
Okay.
I found it.
About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in a major city in the U.S. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who had decidedly not to be a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and spend the time thinking.
You make me want to sleep.
George Carlin, everybody. Give it up.
I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and never once had I had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommate that even the drug dealers in the city were polite, but it all changed in just a few minutes of one.
Okay,
Evening.
I'm already getting goosebumps because what we talked about this in No One's House. I don't like being alone in the fucking dark.
What a great video game!
Shut up.
Kidding.
This is what
I
a
like
great
the
film
love
by
of the
Uwe Boll.
Well, get your
This
hopes up.
already, I'm
Guillermo
putting
del
myself
Toro
in the story, and I don't
Yeah.
like
They're
it.
back together. They're back together.
Okay.
The other guy's name.
Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom after this. It was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police patrol park quite a ways from my apartment. It was a quiet night, even for a weeknight, with very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I turned down a short side street in order to loop back to my apartment when I first noticed him. Fuck. At the far end of the street, on my side, was the silhouette of a man dancing. It was a strange dance similar to a waltz, but he finished each box with an odd forward stride. I guess you could say he was dance walking, headed straight for me.
Skull trumpet.
Fuck you!
So
Don't talk about
imagine-
the skull trumpet.
So this is the scenario. He's walking in the middle of the night. No one's out, of course, and there's this weird man dancing towards him.
He's a maniac. Maniac.
Okay. Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped as close as I could to the road to give him the majority of the sidewalk to pass me by. The closer he got, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving. He was very tall and lanky, and wearing an old suit. He danced closer still, until I could make out his face. His eyes were open wide and wild, head tilted back slightly, looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile, I decided to cross the street before he danced any closer.
Slenderman.
Smart man.
Slenderman doesn't have a face, you fucking assholes.
You're not supposed to look at Slender Man,
Fine,
so
it.
shut up.
I'll just go with it.
Oh, well, you should have seen... Oh, my God. Do you remember when we played last... Oh, no, you weren't there. It was me, you, and Josh. You were at work when we played Slenderman last week.
Oh, that was.
Oh, my God.
Guys,
my
can we
brother was
not
playing-
cheapen this story by relating it to Mimi shitty games?
Mimi
Thanks.
shitty games.
All right, Nate, go.
Amen.
Try again the out. Yeah.
What is that?
I took my eyes off him to cross this empty street. As I reached the other side, I glanced back and then stopped dead in my tracks. He had stopped dancing and was standing in with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me. He was facing me, but still looking skyward. Smile still wide on his lips.
Fuck that.
Maybe he's just a very happy guy.
Shut up.
Dylan, I swear to
Don't
God.
want to take this one?
Such things happen.
I was completely and utterly unnerved by this. I started walking again, but kept my eyes on the man. He didn't move. Once I had put about half a block between us, I turned away from him for a moment to watch the sidewalk in front of me. The street and sidewalk ahead of me were completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone. For the briefest of moments, I felt relieved. Shut up. Until I noticed him, he had crossed the street and was now slightly crouched down. I couldn't tell for sure due to the distance and the shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I looked away from him for no more than 10 seconds, so it was clear that he had moved fast. You said not to look at the crappy Mimi shit.
This is some Silent Hill bullshit.
Yeah.
That's not crappy Mimi shit. That's a
No,
good
no.
horror game.
It's like, kind of like white noise.
Yeah.
Except
yeah.
it's a stalker that's smiling and
Did-
looking. So this is what's happening.
This has everything
Do
I
you-
don't like
do
about
you-
horror movies.
So think of it this way: not only is it a man smiling, it's a man smiling with his head tilted, cocked up, and looking at the sky.
With a frozen face moving.
and he
in this
doesn't move when
really-
he doesn't move when he's looking at him. Only when he's only when he's not seeing him. So this is what happened. He crosses the street, looks back, and sees the man with. He stopped dancing, but he has 1 foot in the street.
Like he's following him.
Then
yeah.
he walks like half a block down, turns around, and now the man's crossed the street, and he's like really close.
I
This is
know-
the worst.
I know this is a good story because I want John to shut the fuck up so we can keep reading it.
This
'Cause
is
I
the
just want to know what
This
happens.
is everything that I hate. Like the looking around, and he's close, or he doesn't. Oh no! I want to go home.
I was so shocked.
I was so shocked that I stood there for some time, staring at him. Then he started moving toward me again. He took giant, exaggerated, tiptoed steps, as if he were a cartoon character, sneaking up on someone. Except he was moving very, very quickly. I'd like to say at this point I ran away or pulled out my pepper spray or my cell phone or anything at all. But I didn't. I just stood there, completely frozen as the smiling man crept toward me.
I'll read this. All right, I'm going to read this because I know what happens.
So fucking read it.
I then stopped again. All right, and then he stopped again, about a car length away from me, still smiling his smile,
That's really close.
still looking to the sky, still looking to the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. What I meant to ask was, "What do you want?" in an angry, commanding tone. All that came out was a whimper. What? Regardless of whether or not humans could smell fear, they certainly can hear it. I heard it in my own voice, and that only made me more afraid. But he didn't react at all. He just stood there, smiling. And then after what felt like forever, he turned around very slowly and started dance-walking away. Just like that, not wanting to turn my back to him again, I just watched him go, until he was far enough away to almost be out of sight. And that's when I realized something. He wasn't moving away anymore, nor was he dancing. I watched in horror as the distant shape of him grew larger and larger. He was coming back my way, and this time he was running.
Fuck this!
I ran too.
Fuck this!
Want to finish it off?
Okay, first of all, let me just point out, I would never have gotten this motherfucker close enough as a car length. As soon as he started tiptoeing towards me, I would have fucking fucked it. I would have sprinted
Piss running down both
all
legs.
absolutely until I was at my apartment. I don't give a fuck how far away it was.
Started the tiptoes
I would have
freaking-
rather have fucking passed out from running and gone to the hospital
Oh my god.
than let this motherfucker get within a car length away
It's not
from me.
over.
All right, bring it home then.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I ran until I was off of the side road and back into a better lit road with sparse traffic. Looking behind me, he was nowhere to be found. The rest of the way home, I kept glancing over my shoulder, always expecting to see his stupid smile, but he was never there. I lived in that city for 6 months after that night, and I never went out for another walk. There was something about his face that always haunted me. He didn't look drunk, he didn't look high, he looked completely and utterly insane. And that's a very, very scary thing to see. No shit,
And
dude.
that's the smiling man. And that's why I told you to give it a chance, even though you guys said it looks like the Joker. But I think that
No,
picture...
this was good.
Just
I
sort of
think
killed it.
that this picture is a perfect...
It's a perfect representation. Cause honestly,
Can you
like...
imagine this following
That's
you?
the thing, like, this story is written so well that I
Yeah.
could see it
This
the
is such-
whole time.
This is such a naturally
The
well-written
whole
story.
time, just like...
It
you know
makes
what?
a
Oh,
world
hold
of
on.
Okay, do you know
The
what it reminds me
author...
of?
Okay, the author is Blue Title. That's
Okay.
the name of the author.
Thank you, Blue
Yeah.
Title, because this fucking story was... If you ever watch this podcast, thank you, because this story was awesome.
killed it.
Believed it.
This reminds me of the Babadook. And I couldn't think of it while we were reading it, because I was so... whatever.
Doesn't your
It's a
arms
lot
feel
like
like
the Bob-
shivering a little bit?
I'm a
as you're-
little freaked out. Like this reminds me a lot of the Babadook, like this creepy, pasty-faced kind of dude, like following you around. You don't. Oh no,
Funny,
no,
'cause
no,
that's
no,
All I know
no.
is when you
No, no,
you
no,
read
no.
he
Oof.
took cartoon like
Yeah, that got me.
Yeah,
guy-
like
you can picture him just going like
Yeah,
for some reason,
oh,
in
no,
my head
no,
also
no,
when I
no.
start seeing this guy
He's
go,
tiptoeing.
"Woo!"
He's
Doing that.
tiptoeing.
like very pronounced. Like
My imagination
Oh,
is
God.
imagine like Waluigi.
God.
Imagine Waluigi, but
Waluigi.
it's a taller version. He's tiptoeing towards you. His head's up, cocked to the
just
side,
imagine-
smiling like.
Just imagine what Luigi,
That's a
why
bad
Luigi
example.
would look like if he was a real person.
That's true.
Kinda
I was
thing.
waiting for him to like just put his head down
Yep.
and like
I was
stare.
waiting for eye
Like
contact.
that would have been.
Well,
that
that
would've been-
happened at the very end. He glanced away
That's
and then
true.
ran
He's
at
ran
full
towards
tilt.
That's,
Can you imagine like
That
just, like,
would've-
something that creepy running towards
that's
you?
how you do a
Fuck.
terrifying twist.
That's
That
good.
would have.
It's minor,
I don't know
it's
why,
small,
some
but
points
it
I
ratchets it
I
up.
would have never left my apartment again. Like,
No, never.
not even during
I
the
would
day.
move.
Dude, the
I would
windows
have
locked,
never-
shades down,
I would have never,
and then he's under the bed.
ever.
I would-
Oh no, Will, I hate you. I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
And you can't
This-
get out of your door because it's locked.
This story, everything about the story was perfect.
That was genuinely terrifying.
There was no.
This is why sometimes the shorter ones are the best.
This is a great creepypasta because it's 100% believable, at least in my opinion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It cut out all the bullshit. It was very straightforward, not like and then the dead child was seen on the screen. This was a dude walking in the city in the middle of the night, and some creepy motherfucker starts coming at him. This might be my favorite one so far. This really, and it's probably just a personal thing because of, like I said, like all of this shit is like the worst things that I hate in terms of like horror movies and like horror stories. This really put me on edge. And it's getting dark, and I don't like it.
You're gonna turn to the window and then he's gonna be.
Oh no!
You guys just had just like a little bit above that, just like
Ugh,
So like
no.
when you hear when we
No.
read this, it's kind of like this. For some reason,
No.
I picture this as a movie per se, and all of a sudden I see him like this, and it goes jank like in every
Yeah,
typical movie.
yeah,
like,
yeah. Kind of
Look
like
at, like,
Jeepers Creepers.
but like they made you feel it, like they really, the author really did, and we all felt it.
You know,
that
yeah,
creepiness.
like he's walking and like his head's like up, but it's like almost like on like a like I imagine him like it's like bouncing back and forth, like it's almost like not connected to his body.
Also,
Oof.
one of the
no.
most powerful images in this story is the first one. He's waltzing.
Right,
What
right.
the fuck?
Yeah, that's
Right.
really...
Like,
Where they want
it's
The
such a
idea-
bizarre.
the
It's
i-
such a bizarre but believable thing to see this tall, lanky man
Because I
waltzing
think
to himself.
everyone's been walking down the... At some
And there's,
point
like,
in your
some
life,
crazy
when you're walking the
asshole,
street
yeah,
and you see
especially
someone
in the
who's
city.
drunk, or
Yeah,
someone,
yeah,
or
yeah.
a homeless person who's acting weird, or something, and they're like acting weird, and you feel uncomfortable. This taps into that so perfectly, where it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you're weirded
Absolutely.
out, and now they're after you,
Right.
feel like
You're
the
weirded out and you're like, you look behind you and they're like,
and now
Okay.
they're closer.
well, no, well, not even that. Like in terms of like reality, like you know,
Yeah.
there's some drunk asshole like acting weird, and like you cross the street and you look behind you and he's kind of just standing there. But this is like, what if that
Exactly.
wasn't the case?
Yep.
Like, what if everything that you were afraid of with that person that you're thinking in your head was fucking happening.
Now this person has found like a really like primal fear in all people.
Yeah.
And like really
being followed.
written and effective short vignette about that, which is it was really good.
It's fantastic.
Like, John,
this is my favorite one so
John,
far.
I'm just going to go back to what you just said just now. It's tall and lanky, and seeing the face. I don't know. You say it's a good example. I don't think that.
The only thing that can make this worse, if you go to the bottom of the page and it's like, there's a video.
Oh no!
No, but
No, there isn't, because that would ruin the story first of all. But second, it wouldn't ruin the story, but I could imagine like not even like the protagonist did it, but just like a security cam, just showing the.
Oh yeah, I could.
Not just the guy waltzing slowly and not doing anything else, but the idea that he might do something else. Just slowly.
But when you describe that, instantly in my head, seeing the face, I automatically picture him in a freaking suit, wearing freaking big ass clown shoes, for like tuxedo shoes, with white gloves, and all of a sudden he just looks down and starts running. I'm like, okay, I've definitely heard this somewhere. I've seen it. It's too cartoony.
See, I don't.
From seeing it, I've seen the photo. I'm like, this character makes me feel like he's too cartoony when he's coming after you. It's like it's.
See, I don't know. I think this story.
Like an anime.
I'm more of like a.
The author is a woman.
I'm more.
I
of
thought
a,
so.
sure.
She said pepper spray.
I'm reading the comments.
She mentioned pepper spray.
It's I think Blue Title's a woman.
That's true. How many dudes carry pepper spray?
Yeah, I was gonna mention that earlier, but I'm like,
That's
The
actually
fact
a good
that
point.
the fact that the idea of this protagonist is also a girl.
Yeah, that adds more actually, because there's the whole I don't want to do the
Yeah.
rape element, but like I feel like now that we know that for certain, that even makes it even fucking creepier. Because how many creepy assholes do women deal with walking, in the city in the middle of the night?
Guys do so.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it was when because I'm more of like I picture it in my head a lot. But when I saw the picture on there when they showed us, it's probably gonna be shown in the video. I pictured that the whole time. Nothing like what they described.
Yeah.
It's just that. In my head.
and just attached to a body being fucking creepy. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've mentioned in earlier episodes that I really enjoy sort of a realistic kind of approach to horror. Like I'm not really.
Shut up,
shut
fucking
your
asshole.
whore mouth, Dylan.
We're gonna gag you with
Shut your
sock.
whore mouth. Stuff like psychological horror. It's good. It's not bad. It's just not really something I prefer. I like it very. That's why I liked Barbie AVI, even though everyone really ripped on it because it felt really real. Whereas this was very real and tangible and solid. And there was nothing weird and goofy and bullshitty about it.
That's true. It was very bare bones, but that's what worked about it. What's interesting about this too is this could even be an urban legend.
No, this feels very real.
An urban I don't want to bring up Slenderman again. Please don't. It feels like a similar urban legend. Watch out for the smiling man. You know what I mean?
Don't touch him.
It could be some shitty horror movie adaptation that some shitty studio does.
It could be based off Slenderman. We're just.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
Because
I don't think so.
When I heard that, I'm
Please.
I hear a tall length. I'm like, as soon as I see.
I don't think so.
I
think this is. It's just.
I hate Slenderman, so hearing people talk about him constantly is really pissing me off.
I don't care for Slenderman either, but it's just the way it's being described.
But it's just. But I feel like the tall, lanky character is just a creepy look. I feel like
it's a tall man. It's not some supernatural bullshit.
I feel like.
But when you start saying he's tiptoeing cartoonish.
Yeah, but I feel like the tall.
Cartoonishly, no. You think of the stretching the leg forward,
right.
Imagine someone hunched over, their hands are out.
But that's fucking creepy.
And they're stretching their legs forward exaggeratedly.
You know what that reminds me of? Nosferatu. That's an old. That's almost 100-year-old movie.
I'm getting that vibe too.
Yeah, and I think that's where that I don't want to. This is just conjecture, but I think that's where that whole fear of tall, slender people come from.
The scene where his head kind of comes
because
around
Nosferatu is like that. It's this tall, slender, creepy fucking
It's
vampire.
a way to be look emaciated but still be physically imposing.
Right.
Which is kind of a weird mix.
Right, and I don't think it has anything to do with slender. I think that's just the.
You're just comparing it because you're a simple-minded mook.
All right, it's fucked up.
To be fair, I am a simple-minded mook.
I'm
a simple-minded mook, but I took it.
I think that's just the
mode.
I think that's just the mode of how do we make? And not that that's not a bad thing if you know how to make it work.
they share the exact same
Right,
thing. I'm
right.
just being mean to Dylan.
No, I know, but like,
No, I will agree. I'm a
It's
simple-minded.
totally fine.
I'm a simple-minded mook. Yes, but when the way
as much as Dylan
He
deserves it,
agrees.
because he didn't wait for me to get fucking food, and I'm never gonna let you live that down.
Okay,
And now it's recorded
okay,
forever.
you're a man. Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
As I'm saying, when I think of it, because also from drawing, my past experience of drawing, whenever I think of something, when you say cartoon,
Yeah.
I automatically, my head goes into some cartoon, like walking like that, and seeing the face that they drew.
Yeah, it's
depicts
fucking
that.
terrifying.
I'm like, okay, this too.
But isn't it more terrifying to imagine that drawing, but like on a real person?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean, that's the
fucking
idea.
terrifying.
By the way, I'm still here, guys. I haven't spoken in like 5 minutes.
It doesn't.
I haven't said anything about the story yet because all you guys have been reacting the way I wanted. By the way,
But
This
story
sounds
is
like a
awesome.
typical.
Listen.
This sounds like a typical.
Typical.
Go ahead. It sounds like it just sounds like a typical story. Like I've heard this like 1,000 times.
Right, and that's where the urban legend type stuff comes
well, it's
from.
because this is it's someone being stalked, which is something that happens,
All the time.
you know, semi-regularly in life. You know, you hear about people having stalkers and stuff.
It's
So
a woman being stalked.
as I think it's a very real sort of scenario, and it's really terrifying.
Maybe
and
he was just happy to see her.
and
Also, you
right,
know-
this story captures that terror.
Also, you know
really
what?
well.
What's really creepy about this story too is, the what creeps me out about shit like this too is the lack of movement, like turning around and seeing that he moved but not seeing, and like being completely still. Like you can't see. I mean, they didn't emphasize this
Red light,
in
green
the
light.
story, but you can imagine like she turns around, he's like on the other side of the street, but he's not moving at all. Like you can't see any breath. There's no like shaking or anything. He's just completely still. That fucking irks me. The fact, like, that complete perfect stillness after you just saw him across the street and then turn around and 10 seconds later he's across the street behind you.
Red light.
And yeah, like
Yeah.
that creeps the shit out
yeah,
of me.
if I would have to give like
It's like
one-
almost superhuman.
if
Like
there was one kind of like critique that one stretch you'd have to make is the idea that she's in a city in an empty street.
yeah,
middle of the night though.
yeah.
That's true. See,
Yeah, but even
like if she had been
Well,
like
she wasn't alone though.
like if she
was
was
she?
shut up.
right now, shut up. If she was like I enjoyed walking at like midnight or later, like maybe
Yeah, but
I mean,
even
that's
in
the only
New-
stretch.
I don't
for
know
me.
what city. I don't know what city it is, but even in New York City at 2:00 in the morning, there's cars on the road.
Exactly.
He's
there's,
right.
There's always
Right.
people.
Well,
on
Well,
the
this is a
streets.
person that just
But-
doesn't care, and then does like
They
just-
care now.
Well, now they do. By the way, I haven't said anything with the story yet.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead, John.
This was kind of like my silver bullet. I actually read this and the other story. Well, actually, no, the other story I've known
What
about
other
for a while.
story? Oh, the one we're gonna read.
The other one
that
after
might
this.
be its own podcast,
But
honestly.
the
'cause we're running long
smiling,
for
the
this.
smiling man.
Mm.
I read this like 4 days ago. I
For
read
the
it
first time?
literally 4
Really?
days ago. I read this, and I remember. And for me, it was in my bedroom.
Oh no.
The lights were all out.
Mhm.
The glow of my computer. I stumble on this story,
No.
just looking for things for this very podcast. I'm just hunting around. I've never read this before. I'm like, okay, that's a creepy face. What is this? Some sort of Joker ripoff? And I start reading it, and the shivers.
Yeah.
At least I have people
Yeah.
here now. But
Yeah, yeah.
when I first read this, I was legitimately freaked out. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
are my windows locked?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I felt. And
Yeah.
this is, yeah, I felt like I had to pull this one out if it really had to be done. And I felt like this had to be done.
Two things. There's one. It reminds me of a story that I read when I was a kid. 'Cause I used to read a lot of creepy stories, and there was one about like a kid who was sleeping. Like he would go to sleep, and I don't remember what the context was, but it was like he turned to his window, and there was a fucking vampire outside his window tapping on his window, telling him to let him in, and it would happen every night. And I don't remember the end of the story, but I remember being freaked out when I was a kid. And there was one night where I was laying there in bed, and I just heard tapping at the window, and I don't know if it was psychosomatic, I don't know, but I was fucking terrified.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about stories like this. You want that sense of dread and realism. The only other time I can recall that I ever really got that was when I was reading The Hobbit, believe it or not, when I was like 12 or 13. And I was still sharing a room with my brother at the time, and I was on my top bunk, and I was reading about the spiders in Shelob's lair, and I kept feeling like there was a giant spider crawling up my bed behind me, like about to attack me. But this gives me the same feeling, the same sense of like dread and like
Yep.
terror.
So I just want to say this also. On Reddit, obviously, apparently it's a true story. Happened about 6 years ago.
Really?
I was about to
It
say
happened to her.
maybe
He
since
said-
she wasn't like
Fuck.
like someone was she was actually
like-
stalked.
like,
and felt like
but like it
right
wasn't
now.
like a smiling man. It was just like a creepy dude.
Maybe. Listen, this is why I
That being
keep.
said,
Well, it could be smart, man.
maybe she's written the most compelling.
See,
and
but that's
convincing
the
creepypasta.
thing. That's why this is really good because
Sometimes-
it's based
Exactly.
on actual events. As
Yeah.
horrifying
I
as
said
it
it
is.
in the very first one. I said it during the pilot that there are a few that are either based or
Yeah.
are straight up true.
It's
I can see
fucking
this being
terrifying.
true.
Oh,
This
yeah,
absolutely
totally.
could be true.
Yeah.
I mean, I can
Some
see
psychopath
I
doing
can
this.
see it being embellished.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
But- But someone could have.
But yeah,
But this
the
author
idea
could have
of
had a
someone
really.
creepily following you
Mhm.
from a distance.
All right.
Absolutely, I
It
can see it happening.
follows.
All right.
Hey.
Well, the next story is gonna have a tough time.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
So I picked a good one.
Okay.
So the second story is called "Dancing Down an Indian Hallway in Darkness,"
What?
and I like this story. I
Sounds
heard
like a-
this story
Sounds like a
first
shitty
on
indie album.
Yeah.
No, I heard the story first on Undercooked Analysis, the Midnight Marinara channel, and this wiki page only has like one comment. It's not a very known story, but I like it a lot, and we're gonna read it. It's very
Okay.
short.
What's the name of it?
It's called "Dancing Down an Indian Hallway in Darkness." Try not to read ahead. It's only it's literally 6 paragraphs long.
Okay.
There's an engine in the,
So-
in the hallway.
How dare you?
Indian
What?
hallway in the dark.
So
Just put some
literally,
dancing down in Indian, you'll get it.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
all right.
Okay.
Who wants to start?
Is there any pictures for
start.
this one?
Because I don't know how to pronounce the name of this like town.
You'd start anyway. It's pronounced Kilimanjaro.
No.
Kilimanjaro. Do you want me to
Like, do you know how to say this word?
Secunderabad?
No one knows how to say it.
Secunderabad,
just,
India.
just butcher it.
All right.
Secunderabad.
My cousin recently moved here from some town in India.
Secunderabad.
Secunderabad.
A recent
Oh, I got it. Secunderabad.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dylan.
A recent road trip exploring America. We were shooting the shit, exchanging ghost stories, and laughing at similarities and differences between American ghost stories and Indian ghost stories. When I asked her if she ever experienced anything supernatural, her eyes widened as she averted her eyes to the window. Just when the silence was about to be too much for me, she softly responded, "Yes, a few. One is troubling."
Cow.
What? Wait, what did he say?
You can't just say
You
words.
don't- Wanna know?
I said a cow.
Someone. keep
This is
reading.
like
Someone read.
racist and like this is an Indian person. Like, is that why you said that? Or
We're about to experience the first
Indian-
fucking snuff film on a podcast because I'm going to strangle Dylan to death, and I'm gonna
Whoa,
smile like the
Dylan,
smile
this,
man while doing
Dylan,
it.
this story is like 6 paragraphs long.
And Dylan.
Seriously.
Indian and Hindu aren't the same thing.
Oh my
Come
god.
on.
Oh my god. I want to
You do know
apologize
that-
to everyone listening to
Yep.
this right
You do
now.
know they're not both religions. Right?
Dylan will not
I
be
know.
on any
Guys,
more
stop,
Creepypasta
stop,
podcasts.
Stop. We're reading.
Dylan's.
Guys, this story is so short. We've read like 1/6
We're
of
all
it.
upset
This
right
is his
now.
fault.
Stop.
Every
Everyone
time.
stop.
Well,
Everyone stop. I'm reading the story.
apologize.
I'm gonna read the whole. I'm reading the
No.
When I was a second year in college, I stayed in an all-girl. I can't fucking do it.
Go.
You can do it.
When I was a second year in college, I stayed in an all-girl hostel dorm. It's a dorm. Oh my god, he's making me mess up.
Just
I made many friends. We were all very happy to be in the school away from our conservative parents. The hostel was so much fun, but it was a very, very old building. Electricity was only put in a few rooms. Sometimes candles were placed along windows if a watchman was present, but normally once you left the rooms, you were faced with complete darkness. It's common to wake someone up if you need to walk down to the restroom at the end of the hall. We all had a childish fear of being left alone in the dark.
fuck you, childish fear. Eat my
Read
dick.
last four paragraphs.
Childish fear.
Okay.
Everyone's got that fear.
One night I had to use the restroom. It was about 4 a.m. I went to my friend's bed and tapped her on the arm. She immediately opened her eyes as soon as I touched her. I apologized for bothering her and told her I needed to pee. She smiled at me and hopped out of bed all the way down the hallway. She laughed and danced. I could not see her at all, but her bangles clanked to get like a wrist bracelets. Clanked together loudly, and the bells in her anklets jiggled softly. Right, this is getting a little racist. It was very calming. I laughed and sashayed my hips down the hallway with her too. Too tired to match elaborate arm movements. She said nothing to me, though occasionally I heard her hum one of our favorite Bollywood songs. The same thing happened on her return. I fell back asleep easily. I woke fairly late the next morning to the sound of men in our room. They surrounded her bed. I bolted from my bed, prepared to protect my friend, when I realized they were administrators of the college. I peered closer. My friend's lifeless eyes were fixated on the bed. The same smile on her face. Suicide, her time of death, was 11:30 p.m., almost 5 hours before I woke her up.
That's it.
Fuck. That
so
was
just to give you as a summary, this girl woke up her friend at like in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and this friend gleefully gets up and does the little dance, and she committed suicide at 11:30 p.m.
Pretty fucked up.
This
Yeah.
I don't know. This is very goosebumpsy, very
Oh,
scary
come
stories to
on.
tell. It is.
No way.
This is
more
okay,
like Tales
scary
from the
stories.
Crypt
Scary
teacher
stories
kinda
to
thing.
tell your friends in the dark. That's what this is
Yep.
more like. That's
Yeah.
exactly what
Who
it's
wrote
like.
those books? Because there's like a ton of them.
They're
Also,
it's
this is
not it's not
uncredited.
they're folklore
They're
stories.
compilations,
Yeah,
right.
they're folklore
That's
stories.
very true.
with an author.
There's like these.
But it's very much
That's
like
an apt
that.
comparison where
It's very much like that.
It's well written and it's creepy, but it's not. It doesn't capture that same feeling.
Yeah. It is much more like a folklore type story.
Okay, that's fair. It's
I
a short story.
liked it, but it's not
fine.
great.
No words for
It's
this.
very light, you know.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
felt there wasn't much substance to it. It sets up a premise very quickly,
What
and
else
it
do you want
comes
it to do? I mean, like
No.
add
No,
stuff.
no.
It's
Yes.
it's just.
I mean,
Why? There's nothing to add. The horror happens. It's the last paragraph. It just happened.
But that's the thing. Like this is just like it's a scary story to tell
I'm
you from
not
the dark. That's what it is.
critiquing
That's
the
what the story is.
narrative. This isn't so much a piece of writing as it is something you tell around a camp.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
oh, like
Yeah,
a creepypasta,
so-
right?
yeah,
Okay,
shut
so
up.
then you like it.
All right, shut up.
Nate.
You made us read No End House. Don't give me that shit.
That's
You know?
true.
Yeah,
That's
well, there's
true.
Please,
some-
that was like a
there's-
goddamn tome.
Whoa.
So please.
It's a fucking
The one thing that just probably got me this whole thing was probably when she was still smiling and like right next to me.
No, it was good. It was.
Can you
But
imagine
this
going to sleep
felt-
peacefully as your dead
Alright.
roommate is staring at you with a smile,
I'm
her
not-
lifeless
yeah, that's
eyes
creepy.
staring at you the whole
I'm-
night?
No, I'm not saying
We're
it's
not-
a bad
we're not
story. I'm
critiquing
just
the
saying
narrative.
it's very much.
It's like popcorn story.
like a fable. Yeah, like not a fable, but a scary story to tell your friend in the dark.
Dylan,
Like,
any
same-
thoughts?
like, same kind of. Dylan's asleep.
Dylan's asleep.
Dylan clocked
Dude,
out after
yeah,
I yelled at him.
let's let him clock out.
Thing.
So wait, John, you're telling me you think this is just as good as The Smiling Man?
I like this story a lot. I don't know.
So
I mean,
no,
it's a
you
different.
don't think
it's
it's
a
just as
different
good as
story.
that.
You can't compare the two.
That's exactly what
You
we're
can't
saying.
compare the two.
That's exactly what we're saying.
Well, you can't compare the two. That's not.
I know. That's what. No. That's you're getting us wrong. We're not attacking the story. We're saying this is a campfire story.
Right.
This is not a piece of writing. This is not like.
No, it's a piece of writing, but it's just
It's not-
It's again, it's a.
I don't
it's
know
a-
how to word it properly.
Yeah, there's a word for it, and I can't remember what it is. It's one of those stories you tell like word of mouth, like
Okay,
like a folklore.
You're very
I mean,
defensive.
I'm not
saying
defensive,
it's
but
bad.
I'm saying a creepypasta. I've said this multiple times. It's like an online campfire story. You're saying it's a campfire
Yeah,
story.
but you show us a bunch of long ones, and
Right.
then you act weird when we find the short.
Right, when
ones
I
short.
show the short ones to show you
This is
guys
your
that not
fault.
everything was narratives. Yes.
All right, so that's what we're saying. We're agreeing with you then.
No, I showed off the well-known ones first, and then thought, okay, I'll show them some shorter ones. That was the whole point.
And our commentary is, this is kind of short and lacks substance.
Okay, like a creepypasta. All right, well, whatever.
Sure, like a creepypasta then.
It's just,
Like certain creepypastas, like
You just
they
seem
could be
like-
in any length.
You
I
seem
mean,
genuinely offended. And
I'm not genuinely
I don't know
offended.
no, it's just coming off. I feel like coming off.
We
of-
just came off of the best
coming
story
off
we've
of the
read.
Smiling Man. Yeah,
Yep.
That was my
that's
mistake,
Probably no, it's not your
Fine.
mistake.
It's not a mistake. You know what
It's
I mean?
not
Well,
a
you're
mistake.
comparing it.
It
Of
was
course
a,
it's
it
a
was
mistake.
No, we
it was a
compare everything we
choice,
read,
and I'm not
that's-
saying that the story was bad. It just felt more folktale-y, and
There was just less story.
yeah, and it was just a little too folktale-y
It was
for me. That's
called the
my issue
Smiling
with it.
Smiling Man a vignette. This was a vignette. That
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
meaty in comparison.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just one of those spooky sort of twisted in the
This
last
is a
sentence type
very-
stories,
That was good.
which I'm not
kind of
I'm not particularly fond of. That's just my personal preference.
It wasn't really like it's not like a build up. Obviously, it's a
Yeah,
really
yeah,
short
it's-
story. That's
it
why
just
I just kinda
happens,
Like,
yeah.
it's
It's an event that
blink
happens
and it's over,
and it's creepy.
you have a
Yeah.
little moment of ooh, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But then
But it's like,
it doesn't
okay.
stay with you.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
not
yeah,
remember this.
This
in
is a
a
very
day.
forgettable story. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough. All right, so final thoughts, anyone, on anything that we've read today?
Smiling Man,
Smiling Man for president.
greatest of all time.
Dylan, Nate, anything?
It was, hit and run.
Hit and run?
Hit or miss is the term you're looking for.
I don't care. I'm just zoning out.
Great
Dylan,
job, Nate. Thanks.
Anything?
Dylan, perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, I think
All
this
right.
is a pretty
Well,
good
This has been the John, Dan, and Will podcast.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 7.
We did.
Yeah. So tune in next time to read something else, I guess.
Pasta awakens.
All right. Until next time, this has been John, aka the
Don't
Skill
like
Flea,
that.
signing out.